Hey guys, just wanted to do a quick clarification on something in the newsletter that has now been drawing a lot of attention. So, on the 23andMe example that's in the middle of the newsletter, again, this was personalized to somebody. So, this was an example of after I met with somebody for 30 minutes, a recap of what we talked about specifically. And this becomes an issue because people are reading things out of context of what the bigger conversation was. So, the polymorphism CRP2R1 is one of them for D3, which we've talked about in UTC meetings. There's a few of them for polymorphisms for D3. This person had that polymorphism, which is why I'm telling them to take at least 5,000 of IUs of D3 every single day, no matter what. Especially during the winter time, people should be taking close to 10,000 or more even, depending on how many of these polymorphisms you have. Like I said, there's more than one. It also depends on how old you are, it depends on how fair your skin is, depends on a lot of things. And all these things are reasons why we run seminars to educate you on what your D3 levels are. But again, it always comes down to measurement. So unless you're getting things measured, we don't know where you are. And I'll give you a classic example. I just had a client who just had his blood work done. He's been taking 5,000 of IUs of D3 every single day with religiously. I know he has. He's been reporting it to me. He just got his blood work done. We want your D3 levels somewhere between 40 and 80. If they're a little bit over 80, it's not a big deal, but 40 and 80. Now your blood work's only going to say 30. And again, this is a larger conversation which I go into in extreme detail in seminars. I'm not going to do it here. After taking 5,000 IUs every day for months, he got his blood work done, it's 36. So is 5,000 IUs enough for him? The answer is no. So unless we measure, we don't know. So going back to this polymorphism and what in the 23andMe example, it says in here, and this is what I want to address specifically, you need to get to the tanning booth twice a week as I RX'd for multiple reasons, which I don't have time to go into here. That's what it says in the newsletter. So what it says there, reasons I don't have to go into here, is because we already talked about it when we were together in that private meeting. Now, what was my RX? My RX was 1 minute in a very specific tanning booth, which is not said in here. Okay, so the tanning booth that I'm referencing, I actually called the manufacturer to find out what the UVA and UVB bulbs were, what the percentages were, and these are the exact same rays that you're getting from the sunlight, which you're not getting during the winter. There are a whole host of reasons why you should be getting UVA and UVB light onto your skin, including the benefit of nitric oxide, D3, but I've mentioned before, if you want to look more into light therapy and what light is doing for your skin, for your eyeballs, you can look into Dr. Jack Kruse's work, Kruse. He has hours and hours and hours on the internet. This is a guy who's literally a brain surgeon, very high-end stuff. Some of the things he talks about is pretty counterintuitive, but all of his references I've looked into myself, and suffice to say, I'm not going to recommend to you guys anything unless I have gone through it with a fine-tooth comb. And a lot of the stuff he says, I wouldn't recommend to you guys, even though I am looking at the research, and even though I do see where he's getting his results, I'm giving you guys the brass tack, no-brainer stuff. And one of them is for some of you, if not all of you, unless you have very specific skin conditions presently, okay? And this is why we would have to have a one-on-one conversation. Most of you should be getting 1 minute of UVA, UVB light at least twice a week during the winter. So that's just to clarify that in the newsletter. So more to come during the week. Thanks, guys.